Hello, 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 and welcome to 52 Weeks of Flow, the podcast that delves into the depth of human potential and the transformative power of flow. On this show, we talk about peak performance, flow, energy, and bridge the gap between science and woo-woo. Through authentic stories and real-life examples, my guests and I will help you dive into your superpowers and create your next level of success. My name is Bea-Marie, neuroscience geek, flow enthusiast, and your guide to rewilding yourself. I'm on a mission to raise the frequency of the planet by supporting you to untame yourself and step into your flow. Today, I have another amazing guest with me. And I had a really amazing conversation with her before. So I think our conversation today is going to blow your mind. Marissa Warren is an internationally known hypnotherapist, international speaker, podcast, and soon TV show host and transformational consultant working with rapid transformational therapy, quantum healing, hypnosis technique, somatic and tantric embodiment, breathwork, and sound healing. Marissa embodies these modalities in her life and has used these to heal trauma, make major changes, create transformations, and align to her soul's and life's purpose. Leaving you feeling empowered, living from infinite inner power and potential, and stepping into the life and level of success you desire. Marissa will help you tap into your inner magic and utilize your inner resources to step up and shine. And I cannot wait to talk to her about creating magic and, what flow has to do with this. So welcome, Marissa.
Thank you so much. It's such an absolute pleasure to be here tonight.
Yes. So let's dive right in because we just realized we're not really good for superficial chit chat. So when you say create magic, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, look, for me, it's really about helping people to tap deep within themselves and alchemize their own inner magic. So with the work that I do, it's very much about holding space and guiding people through the process and helping them to create their own transformations, because I can sit there and I can evaluate and see what's going on with somebody. But if I just sit there and talk to them and tell them what's going on, it's never going to land the same when they actually have their own realizations and go through their own journey and growth and evolution and start to work through to shift back the layers themselves. So it's all about helping people to utilize different resources, to build new resources within themselves, and to really tap in and alchemize their inner magic, because everything we need is already within us. We just need to be able to know how to access it, or maybe circumnavigate around things and excavate things to bring different things up to the level and surface.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So, because I had a couple of people come up to me like this. So when somebody would come to you, like a new client, I would say, okay, I know there's something blocking me, but I don't know what it is. What do you do with that person?
Yeah, so with that work, I get really deep down into the subconscious. So I've got a phenomenal ability to be able to tap really deeply into people's subconscious minds to find out exactly what is going on. We get to that root cause of whatever's going on, holding them back, keeping them stuck, keeping them feeling like they're repeating those patterns and looping behaviors. Then we go through and release it, and then we go through and start to recode and rewire the subconscious. So not only are we having the awareness of what's going on, but we're also then creating that change and reforming and recoding that thinking and the thinking patterns as well.
So what does that then actually look like?
So normally we would drop them into hypnosis. So I do a couple of different hypnosis modalities. So the main one I do is rapid transformational therapy. So in that is a combination of cognitive behavioral therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, psychotherapy, and obviously the hypnosis. So I basically drop people down into hypnosis, and then we go through and do different therapy modalities. And when you're in hypnosis, you are tapping directly into that subconscious mind. So it's like we're turning off the conscious mind, which is like the loud mind, which is the one that you hear in your head, like that loud voice. And the subconscious, I call it like the silent assassin. So that's the one that is running the show and creating these patterns and beliefs and basically the programming of your life. So when you're in a hypnosis, we're basically bypassing that loud voice and we're going straight into the subconscious. So your subconscious is like your autopilot. So if there's that disconnect between the two of them, consciously you might know you want something and you want to be moving in a different direction, but subconsciously it's going to be going completely off in another direction. So you want to bring them both into alignment and in harmony, and the subconscious is the mind that you need to be working on, because that is where, that's like the computer program of your life, of your mind, your body.
Yes, absolutely. So when we tap into the subconscious, like, what can we do? What can we see there? What is there? Because I think for a lot of people, it's like, well, yeah, some things I just do, like you say, on autopilot. Like, how do we break those patterns? How do we create more flow and ease?
Yeah, well, it's definitely, first of all, understanding why you've got those patterns happening. So understanding why things are showing up in your life and what they're causing in your life as well. And, you know, quite often, like I might have a client come and work with me and we're working on whatever issues presenting in their life. And most of the time they've had trauma that has happened. So they're quite often worried if we go into hypnosis that they're going to relive the trauma. But it's actually generally, we don't normally revisit the trauma. And it's actually events and situations that normally happen before that event that has kind of led to that traumatic event happening. So it's like understanding, getting information from different events that have happened throughout your life. And sometimes people as well, you know, it could be as simple, I'm going to say simple as, because when you compare it, it's like as a child, you might have had your parent not come and pick you up from school, or they were late, or they said something to you. So it created this sense of belief system within you that you're unlovable, you're unworthy, you're undeserving, or you have these abandonment wounds that show up. And then those situations will keep playing out in your life because it activates your reticular activating system. So your reticular activating system is, it's kind of like, the easiest way to describe it is if you are looking for a new car and then you see that car everywhere on the road. So your mind will seek out bias and belief to reinform, and evidence to reinforce and reinform your belief system. So if your belief system was formed through a series of repeated events, not necessarily big trauma or a traumatic event, it could be mild trauma, or it could be an insignificant event, something you deem insignificant, right? But then what will happen is your mind will seek out to reinforce that belief system to you. So it's repeating back to you through patterns and behaviors and situations and events to keep reinforcing that belief system within you. So what we want to do is identify why this belief system has formed and how it started. And then we want to start going in and recoding and reprogramming the subconscious. So with that, I use a lot of the clients' it's all their terminology, it's all their wording and the results that they want to have. So basically then we will go through and do different therapy modalities to start to recode the subconscious. And then they have a recording to listen to every day for the next 21 days. And that is what is also reforming those neural pathways. So you're starting to have different thoughts and starting to have a different belief system be embedded as well.
Ooh, that sounds like a really, really cool and interesting journey. Yeah. And when you explain it like that, it does sound like a really, really long process. But, you know, what could make a lot of people hesitant, you know, because we're like, oh no, I want an instant solution. I want to go somewhere, snap, and I'm good. So how long does that kind of process take?
Look, I will work with my clients minimum of 1 month, and I generally will do one hypnosis session, or normally anywhere between 1 month to 2 months. So in the 2 months, it's 2 hypnosis sessions. Some people with the therapy that I offer may need between 1 to 3 sessions. I've never needed to do more than that. Most of my clients get phenomenal results in 1 session, but that is kind of the start of the work. So quite often they will leave, they have these amazing success. Like, for example, I'll work with someone with an addiction. They'll leave and they'll never drink again. They'll never smoke again. They'll never gamble again. Whatever their addiction is, that will end straight away instantly. But you need to do consistent daily work. I don't even know if I want to call it work, maintenance, I guess, to continue that reprogramming and rewiring of your neural systems, because it's like eating well, right? And people are like, oh, you're on a diet. It's like, no, it's a lifestyle choice. Like exercising and moving your body, it's part of your maintenance to have a healthy longevity life, right? And vitality, and having daily rituals and practices where you're continually working on your mindset, continually having these daily positive habits is habitually layer stacking over time. And that's where you get long-term and lasting results. So when I believe in quick fixes, I get quick results, but nothing is a quick fix. Everything takes maintenance, and you need to be continually doing the work, showing up for yourself, and having a great set of resources to access and refer back to on a daily basis to maintain that level and to keep continuing to go higher.
Yes, I love that so much, because a lot of people, and me in the past as well, we think, oh yeah, we have a breakthrough and then we can go back to where we were, and it's kind of like becoming a mother. It's a lot of women say after having a kid, oh my God, I want to go back to my own old life. How can I come back to my old life now? You can't, because you have changed. Your brain has changed. You have a baby now. You have different values now. You have different responsibilities that are deeply enrooted in you. So making that shift, making that change, and yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. And a lot of mothers will probably hate me for that by saying a child is a lifestyle choice. You're changing your lifestyle by having a kid.
Yeah.
And so going with this and going with the daily habits, the past 3 weeks, I have eaten really bad.
Me too.
I'm usually a clean eater. I, mostly plant-based, but the last 3 weeks have just been all over the place. And I just realized, okay, I need to make a cut. I like my system doesn't function with, just a little bit. I just smoke a cigarette a day, or I just have a glass of wine a day. Like I didn't drink for 4 years now.
Yeah, right.
And so, because for me, it's like, okay, I cut it. I cannot do this, poison my body once a day kind of thing. So, so the last 3 weeks, when I reflected on that, I was like, oh no, this is not good. This is, downward spiral. Oh, no. So I started to fast.
Okay.
I'm doing a broth fast to do reset my whole system, to clean my gut and to just clean my body from all the toxins, to then get a fresh start, to basically start out new, to lay a clean fundament.
Beautiful.
Before I build a house. So I don't know anybody who's listening right now, if you feel like you are not capable of changing, a habit a day, or if you are the kind of person who thinks, no, I need a clean cut, I need to, and then move on with my new habits. What do you say? Because I know that, changing everything at once is pretty hard. So when people come to you and say, okay, I don't like what is happening, I want to change everything, help me with that.
I think quite often people don't make the decision to change until they're forced to change. So quite often people are put in a situation where they've had a health scare or a major life event, and then it's given them that wake-up call and that realization to take a different review over their life, and then that's when they want to make changes. But the time to change is before you need to change. So make change easy. And often when my clients come to me, it's like they are already overwhelmed. They've got so much going on. They're in a complete state of collapse with their nervous system. They're on burnout. There's nothing left in the tank. They're completely numbed out and disconnected. So to have to make a big change, even though they want their whole life to change instantly, it's impossible because they just physically, mentally, emotionally don't have that resilience or the level to be able to have big change. And you can make change easy and you can have very fast change. It's all working within the range of your body and your nervous system. So sometimes you have to kind of work from that ground up. And it's also about changing the intention of what you're already doing on a daily basis to get a different result. So quite often people think when they want this new life or want to have this big change, like their whole life has to change. But it's like, you know, even monks that meditate for 10 hours a day, they still have to do their washing and cook food and wash their dishes. Like, you can't take away the mundane aspect of life, right? Like, there are still going to be things that you're going to have to do no matter what point of elevation and life you have. There are certain human aspects that you have to do that are part of being a human, like showering or whatever else, right? Like, they're just things you have to do. So it's like, how can you bring a different level of intention to what you're already doing to get a different result? So, for example, if you are having a shower, right? Can you do like a nice shower meditation? Can you start to tune into, you know, feeling the sensations of the water or smelling the soap powder or whatever it is, right? Can you take that time to zone out from the rest of the world? Because quite often, even if you're a busy mum, most of the time in goodwill thinking, depending on what age your child is, you can at least have like 2 or 5 minutes in the shower, right? I understand that when they're young, it's impossible. But, you know, it's like, how can you have a different level of intention of what you're doing? Or if you're washing the dishes, can you start to bring more mindfulness in it? Like, you know, smell the soap powder, feel the bubbles cracking on your skin, really go into like a meditative state while you're doing the dishes or hanging out the washing. How can you bring a different level of intention in? And I love, love, love breath work. My life completely changed when I first discovered breath work. And breath work, there's so many different levels. A lot of people think, you know, it's like that Wim Hof breathing and it's really accelerated breathing, but there's so many different breathing techniques that elicit different responses within the nervous system. And, you know, I love, I do this, the 6-6 breathing. So it's breathing in for the count of 6, breathing out for the count of 6. And you can do that anywhere. So if you're feeling stressed, if your kids are having a meltdown, if you're stuck in peak hour traffic, you just can tune into your breath and turn your awareness back into the body. Nobody needs to know you're doing anything different. You're not laying down and having a big emotional release. You're simply learning to tune back into your body and to bring a different intention to what you're already doing in your daily life to get a completely different response. And that's where you make change easy. Because when you look at your life, like from where you are to where you want to go, I tell my clients is like, imagine you're standing on a football field. The current version of you is at one end, and the future version of you that's living the life you want to be living is standing at the other end of the football field. So depending on like what your view is on like quantum leaping or time or parallel lives or whatever, right? It's like the version of you living the life you want to be living is already currently coexisting at that period of time. So it's like, how can you call that current version of you into that future version of you in the easiest way possible? You know, it's a possibility. You can see the other end of the football field. You know, it's a very real possibility to walk to the other end of the football field or to run, however fast you want to transition through. You know, it's a possibility. So how do you move from where you are to where you want to be? You start, first of all, by embodying the lifestyle, the frequency, the mindset, the vibration of that future version of you and calling it into the current day version of you. So if your future version of you has X amount of money in the bank account and your bank account looks vastly different from that, it's like, okay, how would you show up differently if that wasn't a worry or a concern? How would you show up differently if you had trust and faith in universal flow and abundance coming into you every single day? It will open up more abundance to come your way. Or if the future version of you is healthy and active and you're recovering from an injury, it's like, how would that future version of you feel waking up feeling energized every single day? How can you start to bring more energy into your body and start moving energy in your body to start increasing more energy? So it's like changing what you're already doing, bringing a different level of intention and starting to embody the mindset, the values, the frequency of that future version of you. And that is how you move them together in a rapid amount of time.
Ooh, I love that. I'm getting chills. And you talked about embodiment. And in your intro, I said that you embodied all of those techniques and all of those things. You said you do a lot of those, a lot of breath work. So what has changed for you? Like, where were you before you embodied all of this? And like, what is the change for you?
Yeah, so I guess I first discovered embodiment work. So I hit burnout, I want to say 7 years ago. It may be 10 years ago, a while ago. You know, time just blends together. But I hit burnout and I was like, I didn't even think it was a real thing. And I was completely just numbed out and there was nothing left in the tank. And I felt like I needed to rebuild myself, like literally from the ground up, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like there was nothing left there. I could not do anything. So I had to like really, rebuild myself. It was literally like, I felt like myself was like jigsaw puzzle pieces laid out on a table and I had to rebuild me, but I knew it was never going to look the same again. So I first discovered Tantra in like tantric embodiment then, because that was the only thing that could start to restore felt sensation to me, which then helped also to bring that mind and body connection back in, and then also helped to recalibrate me spiritually as well. So that was my first part with the embodiment work. And then I went on, then I kind of recovered from burnout, and then, but you know, things have a way of coming up if you don't deal with them properly. And then I lost my dad 4 years ago, and I just completely felt like my whole world imploded. So I just woke up and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't want my next 40 years to be the same as my last 40 years. And my soul was like calling out for more. I just knew that I was like, I'm not meant to live this life. Like, I'm not meant to work 9 to 5. I'm not meant to live like this, like live the way that I've been conditioned in society. Like I had all of the things you're meant to have, like, you know, the house, the job, relationships, whatever, like tick, 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 tick it all off the list. But every time I had that, I was like, oh, I've achieved it, but I still feel so empty inside. Like I still feel like my soul is calling out for more. So packed up my house, moved, and went traveling through South America for 4.5 months and just went on a massive soul journey. And that was when I was in Costa Rica and I did my first proper breathwork session. And for me, I just felt like it just lifted the lid on so much that had been just locked away in me for so long. And then I went and did like plant medicine and sat with shamans and, you know, like went through the Amazon, like, you know, went on a massive soul journey. And it was the best thing I possibly could have ever done. And then I came back and I've started to add in a lot of somatic work. So now for me with my clients, I want to be able to help them. So not everyone can go and sit in a jungle for 4.5 months. But it's like, how can you make change easy to what you're already currently doing in your life to be able to get better results through? So for me, it kind of came, the work I'm doing now came through my own experiences of modalities that I have used myself. And the work that I do and the treatment that I've created for my clients is so unique. There's nothing else out there specifically to what I'm offering. And I offer it because I know it works and I've seen it work with so many clients. It's not just working just for now in one issue, it's lifelong lasting changes. But again, it comes from once you have those tools and resources, that self-maintenance and showing up for yourself every single day and being consistent and actually doing the work to maintain these results.
Yes. And just to let you all know, maybe like it probably sounds like work right now to do it every day. But after 21 days, the latest after 66 days, this becomes a habit. This becomes a new neural pathways. It becomes your new norm. So maybe at first you feel like you need to push yourself to do something or to change something. But after a while, this becomes your second nature. You don't think about it anymore. You don't think about that you go to a different food store where they have healthier food, or you don't think about yet you do cold plunges every morning now, or you don't think about that, you know, you take a deep breath or do the 6-6 breathing that Marissa just mentioned when you feel stressed, because it becomes a part of you. So when we talk about maintaining your results or even leveling up, It's a process of becoming this, embodying this.
Absolutely. And I think life in general it's not about the destination, it's the journey, and it's who you become along the way. Like, it's like what you're shedding and releasing and evolving and elevating into. That's what life is about. It's like you don't get to the end of your life and go, oh, well, like I did all of these things or whatever. It's like, who did I become during this process? And, you're never the same version of you all the time, right? Everyone changes. And, we were talking about this with relationships. And I feel like this is one of the reasons why there's also a high divorce rate, is because people get together. They feel like it's the right thing to be doing. They go through these life events together. They feel obligated to stay together. But people change, right? Everyone is their own sovereign being, having their own soul journey in life. But we get so attached to the identity of a person that is the identity of them we've created in our head, that we become so fixated on that when they start to shift and deviate away from that, it completely alters and distorts our reality. And then it's hard for people to navigate a relationship where the identity they had of that person is changing, because that person is no longer the person they thought they were. But if they just accepted that everyone is their own sovereign being having their own journey, and you share life together, not, you're together coexisting, but everyone is having their own evolution, their own development, their own growth, everyone is having their own experience in life.
Yes, absolutely. And when you were talking that you were going through the Amazon and stuff, I had that picture of a lot of couples, when they have small children and they're like, they maybe discover something like that and they're like, oh, I want to go to the Amazon, I want to do plant medicine. Like one of the two says it, and then when the kids are old enough, they're like, okay, that one person is then saying, oh, let's do this, and the other one is like tagging along.
Yes.
You're always like, let's go on vacation, to the Amazon and then do plant medicine and do all this, jungle stuff. And the other person like, okay. It's kind of like you're pulling somebody with you. And like you say, we're all sovereign beings on our individual journeys. So when you are in a relationship right now and you feel like you need to go to the Amazon, then go to the Amazon. Don't wait for the other person. The other person might come with you, but maybe they won't. And that's okay too.
Yeah. And it's like part of doing the work and elevating yourself is the ripple effect that it causes. So, when you're working on yourself and making these changes within you, it naturally ripples out to those around you, because you are then showing up as a different version of you. So your relationship does automatically change with your partner. Then, because you're having a different positive interaction with your partner, they go to work and then they have more positive interactions with their co-workers, who go home, who have more positive reactions with their family or your children. Because you're doing the work and transitioning yourself, you're a different version of a parent to them. So they become a different version of themselves. So they go to school, they show up in a better way. They have a better interaction with their teacher, who goes home, and the cycle repeats. Or they have a better interaction with the children in the class that go home to their family. And this is the ripple effect of the rising of the global consciousness that I love. And this is doing the work. It's like you do the work for you, solely for you, as your evolution and your growth, and it ripples out to the world around you in a positive way.
Oh, yes. I love that. I love that so much, because I always say, do you just want to create ripples? Then do the work for yourself. But do you want to create waves?
Yes.
Then you need to go out there. You need to talk about your transformation. Even if you're not a coach, even if you're not, a speaker or somebody, but talk to other people, like actively about your process. Because yes, showing up as a different person creates the subconscious ripple that ripples through other people's lives. But if you go and tell them about it, and tell how amazing it is to sit in circle, to be with, to do plant medicine, to get your mind expanded, to elevate yourself, then maybe they don't understand. Maybe they say you're crazy, but a little seed is planted that is bigger than the ripple that they see in you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just think Life is meant to be experienced. We're not meant to be the same all the time. Like, it's like life is like a smorgasbord, right? Like, you go to a restaurant and there's so many different foods on the table, and you eat some and you're like, oh, I really didn't like that. And then you eat something else and you're like, oh my God, I love this. I want to have more of this. Or you go back to the same restaurant the next day, and the thing you didn't like, you're like, oh, I'm going to try it again. Actually, it tastes all right. Like, I'm going to try this a little bit differently. So it's like life. Like, we're meant to try different things. Like, we're meant to have different experiences in life. We're not meant to be doing the same thing every single day. This is not what we came here for.
That is so funny that you say that, because my daughter, she the other day, she was like, oh no, I don't like that. I'm not going to eat that. And we're like, okay, whatever you feel like. A couple of days later, I felt like cooking that again, or something different, but with the ingredients that she didn't like. And then I was like, okay, I made an extra bowl for you, because you didn't like that. And she was like, really? No, I loved that. I was like, what? So, you can change, or your taste and everything can change within just a couple of days.
Totally. Absolutely.
Okay. Since I tried to keep it really condensed and short and amazing, just my last question for you, Marissa, is, if you could make a wish right now, what would that be?
If I could make a wish right now. Well, one of my goals is I want to buy land in Costa Rica, and I want to build a sanctuary there, and I want it to be like this amazing healing vortex. So I've already got my floor plan mapped out. So I'm going to have like places to stay. I'm going to have like a beautiful like healing center. And I just want it to be this amazing place where people can come. They can experience the work that I'm doing. I want to have all of these amazing offerings with different people. And I just want people to be able to come to step into this space, to be able to heal and make changes in their life and learn practical skills that they can actually take away with them, that they can share with their community and the people around them, and just create a beautiful haven for people, because, that's what we're here for, right? Like, my legacy, I feel, is doing the work I'm doing and helping people to help themselves to change. And I just want to start creating like a beautiful like unity and community, and a beautiful place where people can have that space to be able to start to tap into themselves and learn and feel what it's like to actually start to alchemize their inner magic, and know that they can create the life they want to live and be empowered to live and do that. That's my long-term, well, I would say long-term goal. I would love to do it next year, but who knows? But that is my goal. And if I had a wish, I would be there now, setting it all up now.
All right. Yes. Speak it into existence. That's what I always say. When you want something, you need to talk about it. You need to tell it. You need to spell it, because everything that we say is a spell. Everything that we put out there into the world is like an order to the universe, or to God, higher power, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Marissa, where can people find you when they want to connect with you?
You can find me on all of the socials, so just underneath my name, and my website, so marissawarren.com, and I'm probably most active on my on Instagram, but you can reach me on my website, and through my website you can also book in for a free discovery call as well, if you'd like to chat further about how I might be able to help you and help you move into the life you want to be living.
All right. Thank you so much. And if that was too fast for you, everything will be in the podcast description as well, of course. But I just love when my guests are telling you where you can find them. Thank you so much for being here. This was an amazing conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
And that's it. That's it for today. That's our show. If you enjoyed it, then I would really love for you to go in and rate the show with 5 stars. Give us a review, because you can be sure that I will read every one of that. That is from my heart. It really makes me, that's what makes me do this podcast. That's what makes me bring on those amazing guests to share their stories with you, to inspire and empower you. And if you have any questions or suggestions, then please feel free to reach out on at bea@superwoman.coach. And if you don't want to miss anything, all the news, all the discounts, all the new workshops and programs, then sign up for my newsletter at www.superwoman.coach. And until next time, keep shining, keep learning, keep growing, and keep flowing.